How's it going? Welcome back to Daily Endeavours for Tuesday the 19th of August. I'm Jackson. As always, there'll be timecodes in the description if you just want to skip to one option and you just want to not bother with everything else. You know how it is. 15 seals, the set's okay. Not many issues I find with it. It's just this one here I would avoid. I would go kill dangerous foes and enemies with scribe skills, and then depending on if you've got these skilled or not, I'd either go one heist or I'd go cloth reducing plants. But honestly, these two, either of these are fine. If you've got thieves skilled, you could also kind of skip this one, because this one can be a pain in the ass, mainly if you don't have anything unlocked scribing wise. So why do I say don't do a town? There's, especially since the extra campaigns with white strikes have been removed, I think it's even worse. So there's 3 towns, right? You've got Cropsford, you've got Vlastris, and you've got Bruma. These are strategic locations, which means they tend to change hands relatively quickly, because people can spawn at them. But the issue is, if you do this at a time when there's not much action in Cyrodiil, it can be really inconvenient to try and take these things. So right now, like, if I was, say, to do this on Ebonheart Pact, this one's already taken. It's the easiest to get to, but we've already got it, so I can't take this one. You've got this one over here. Like, I've got nothing nearby that I can travel to get over here. And same thing with this one. There's these areas over here, but I'm traveling through enemy territory to get there. Sometimes it can be really good. Like, if your faction has taken Dragonclaw, it means that you could take Bruma in that case. Taking the town itself is easy, but it's usually so inconvenient just getting there, let alone actually taking it. Because here's the thing, right? If you go to take one of these places and it lights up, say it's under attack, and an enemy group of like PvP-oriented players comes over, if you're not good at PvP, they're going to come over and just roll over you, and you're going to have to respawn somewhere over here just to get over there. And on the other side, if you're good enough at PvP to be able to handle that, you're probably established enough where you can just do these other options quicker anyway. So it's kind of like, just like the other day with the award medals one, it's just catch-22. I don't think there's any reason to do this one over the other options. I think they're so much easier. So yeah, my advice here, just skip this one. It can be really quick, and like, if you do want to do this, try to look around all the campaigns and see if there's any where you own the keep but the enemy owns the town, because that's the quickest. And try and find a group to help you, because the more people taking a flag at one of these towns, the better. But yeah, I'd just skip this one, because yeah, better options. So I'll start with scribe skills. I think this and dangerous foes can be done in the same place. There is a dungeon which has both dangerous foes and really weak enemies you can kill with scribe skills. But I'll just go through the basics. Like, if you don't have many scribe skills at all, this one will be painful to do in a dungeon, and I'd just advise just killing critters instead. So firstly, I need to explain what a dangerous foe is. If you see these, there's like these little diamond, like blinking, or not really blinking, lit up diamonds next to the health bar of enemies. These are dangerous foes. So large enemies like Frost Atronachs, Wamasu, Storm Atronachs, Daedrus, Trolls, those sorts of things are dangerous foes. There are places you can find a lot of these, but for convenience, I think you should do a dungeon called Wayrest Tours 1. The reason for this is there are skeevers in the first room, and there are also crocodiles, and the crocodiles are actually these like sort of boss enemies or mini boss enemies. So what you can do is go to Wayrest Tours 1 with a kit of AoE scribing skills, and you can kill the crocodiles and the skeevers using that method. So you can get the dangerous foes and the scribe skills done. So firstly, I'm just going to go through what I would recommend you use in scribing to get this done, because there's some that I prefer and some that I don't. Alright, so let's just begin with Wield Soul. This is the very first scribing skill that you'll usually get, because you get it from completing the very first quest. Immediately you'll have magic damage, and just this stuff really doesn't matter. If you don't have any of the other stuff, just use Wield Soul, either magic or get the physical one from one of the mages guilds. If just depending on which resource you want to use, because they use different resources, stamina or magicka. So you can use these on critters. because critters only have 1 HP, you only need 1 attack, and that's all that matters. Because the issue with scribing skills is, like the Endeavor, the last hit must be with a scribe skill. So the thing that kills the enemy. Everything else doesn't matter, but the more scribing skills you'll have for like AoE fights, the better. And you only want to do this with AoE if you're going to kill like big groups of enemies in dungeons, because otherwise you'll be fucking spending ages in there. So my setup for this, on a stamina setup, is Traveling Knife. I've got multi-target. This is the pivotal thing for Traveling Knife. I would only use it with stamina builds and with multi-target. You can use things like magic damage to cause it to deal damage between you and the enemy, but I find that like range, or like that area where it deals damage, really isn't that great. Multi-target is great because it hits everything around them, so it's not just between you and the enemy. The issue I have with like enemies on return is the target is usually who's going to be in front of you. Like trying to line up the like furthest enemy away is just so much more work, whereas you just throw multi-target to the first enemy that you see, and it's going to fucking hit anything everywhere. It's going to hit anything. Sorry, let me say that again. It's going to hit everything anyway. So yeah, multi-target. If you don't have multi-target, I wouldn't use this myself. Warrior's Opportunity for more martial damage, because you're a stamina build, you're going to be doing that anyway usually. And Vulnerability. Doesn't really matter here. If you have... I don't know if this uses Mangle. Let me have a look. Oh no, it doesn't. Force. If you have Force, use that. If not, it doesn't really matter too much here. Vulnerability if you can get it. I also use Ulfstills. I think they're all magic damage. Yeah, they're all magic damage anyway. So I use Bleed, Lingering Torment, and Vulnerability. This doesn't really matter too much. Maybe Breach if you want to use it too. But yeah, Lingering Torment. The damage here still counts for the Endeavor. So Lingering Torment's all good. Don't use Assassin's Misery, whatever you do, because the status effects actually, if they get the kill, it doesn't count. So yeah, I want to avoid that. Banner Bearer is good too. Depends on what you have though. If you've got... I like using physical damage, just because I'm with a stamina build. But yeah, whatever you want to use here. Mobilize if you want to use that instead, or restore, reduce ability cost. Yeah, whatever you want to use there. That's not super important. Trample, on the other hand, I really like this one. Physical damage, Warrior's Opportunity, and Off Balance. Vulnerability, or I think this is the one that can have Mangle. And Mangle's great. Yeah, Mangle if you can get it too. There's basically just a proc that doesn't proc any damage. So yeah, Trample with either Mangle or Off Balance or whatever you can use as well. So that's my combination. And if you want to go magic instead of Traveling Knife, just use Soul Burst and have it to whatever you can get. And if you don't have multi-target, also just use Soul Burst instead. So yeah, physical or magical, Lingering Torment, or Sage's Remedy if you want a little bit more healing. The biggest issue that you'll have with Scribing is you do not get much healing at all. So from the skills themselves, unless you just completely nerf your ability to deal any damage. So yeah, use Lingering Torment though, and either Breach or Magic of Steel might be good too. Savage Ring Prophecy is good too. Yeah, it just depends. Alright, so whatever it is you choose, you can go down 2 avenues here. You can either go the slower, but basically sure critters way. So kill critters with 1 skill, that's all it takes. Now there's a couple of great places for this. If you've completed the Scribing skill quest line, and you've got all the wings of the various guardians, Wing of the Griffin, Indrik, and Netch, they all have critters in them. Like these rabbits, the deer over here, those sorts of things, anything with 1 HP. You can kill them with 1 hit in here, and these areas are instants, so you can't actually find other players in here. But it means that they won't kill all these critters, so they'll always be ready for you. The only issue is there's not going to be enough for 40. There's probably not going to be even enough for 20. So you'll have to do this a couple of times, or maybe use the rest of them in Way Sewers. But the thing about Way Sewers is the skivers at the start are super fucking weak. So you can basically just, with 1 AoE skill, you can kill all those 2 anyway. But yeah, that's an option. If you want other places for critters, there is also Monkey's Rest in Oridon, just northwest of Vocal Guard, where you start with the Wayshrine, so it's easy to get over here. There's a great place in Stonefalls too, just northeast of the stable. So this Wayshrine you get by default as well. there are shit tons of little tiny spiders here, and you can kill the spiders too for the Endeavor. There's also Divad's Chagrin, the oasis over here. This has shit tons of goats. Easy access here is via home tours with House of the Silent Magnifico. I'll show you how to use home tours in a sec. But yeah, this house works well. But if you want to use Wayward Tours 1 for the skeevers and the groups of enemies, that's why I suggest, if you've got access to the AoE skills, just use the whole thing for these two here, because it's so quick. So, in order to get to Wayward Sewers, if you haven't been before, I assume if you've got this sort of setup, you've probably been here at some point. But let me just show you how, just in case. So, home tours, browse homes, and we want to look for something called Gardener House. So, use this to travel there. So, as soon as you've unlocked Wayward Sewers 1, or as soon as you've been there once, it'll unlock on your map, and you can travel there via Wayshrine. So, what that means is, what I would do is go to a Wayshrine in Craglorn, or wherever you want to farm your cloth plants, or go to Hughes Vein. Go to Wayward Sewers 1, do this, and then go to wherever you were going to go before. In Gardener House, whichever one you go to, just go out the front door. And from here, you'll be in Wayrest, and it's just down the road, basically. Alright, getting inside now. Deception in the Dark, that's the one you want to choose. 2 of the crocodiles in the water. These are going to be your dangerous foes. So there's one there. We'll grab that one. Slaughter heal. You're going to need one in here because, yeah, Scribing does not heal you a lot. Unless you have like 4 with Sage's Remedy. Let's grab that. Grab that as well. Yep, cool. And then we want to grab one more crocodile. So only do this if you're sure about your build, because you're going to be taking a shit ton of damage here. We'll grab them as well. Alright, start with Trample. Burst, Contingency, and we're almost dead. Good lord. And now just Hidden Blade. Knife, whatever it's called. I can't remember the name. Soul Burst, Contingency, Trample 2 if you got it. And then Knife. Until dead. So yeah, that's 20 enemies with Scribe skills, and we also killed our 2 dangerous foes there. So these crocodiles are your dangerous foes, these things here. I wouldn't suggest killing any more than 2, because they have way more health. You can go in here instead. There's a lot more enemies in these rooms, and there's enough for 40 in this area here, even without the crocodiles. Let's pull this group here. What I like to do is come into here, and just keep healing yourself. I think this doorway is bugged, yeah. So now all the range enemies are together. I'll run the trample through the middle. And just keep spamming Knife. Yeah, just keep repeating that process basically. So pull this group over here, pull this group. What I'll do is I'll come over here, and that will cause all the ranged enemies to basically pop up in the same spot. Just, yeah. Oh yeah, sorry, I'll grab this person too while I'm here. But basically just grouping up enemies into a tight spot. While also not dying. Soul Burst. Let's trample again, just for good measure. Bigger. And yeah, we've done it now, so that's good. But there you go, 2 in a couple of minutes. So dangerous foes and 40 enemies with Scribe skills is done. And now I'm going to go do the cloth reducing plants. Once we leave, it'll take us to where we were before. So again, if you traveled here via a Wayshrine, you'll go straight back to that Wayshrine. It's really convenient. If you want a constant source of dangerous foes that you can kind of rely on, dolmens are a really good way, because they spawn multiple dangerous foes at a time, just constantly. There's other things, you know, the trolls, for example, in Trolls Toothpick, you could go and kill them. In Cragmorn, you've also got, like, you've got the you've got all the dangerous foes in Spellscar, you know, all the Storm Atronachs and the Frost Atronachs. You can kill those. They count as dangerous foes. The Gargoyles at Ranizar School of Warriors, there's lots of them here. You can also use those. Anything that has those like little, anything that has these little things here, these things here, that's what you're looking for. Just that stuff. Right there. So now I'll get into cloth-producing plants. So there are 10 different cloth-producing plants. The ones that spawn depend on two things: your character's level and your crafting level. So firstly, you want to go into craft, clothing, look at the tailoring passive, scroll over this, and whatever it says here, so Ancestor Silk in this case, that is one of the things that will spawn. The others based on your level, you can't see it unless you actually go to a page on UESP. So right here, the other one will be this list here. So whatever your level is compared to this is going to be the item that spawns. Now, if you go to if you either scroll over this or scroll over this stuff, if you scroll over it, it will show you an image of what the plant look like. So once you know what you're looking for, you just have to know what they look like, because every single node of that cloth plant type looks exactly the same. So every void bloom is going to look like this, every silverweed is going to look like this, for example. So once you know that, I find you'll have a much easier time. But let me go through some more extra stuff that'll help. Keen Eye Cloth, if you're still not too confident that you're going to find stuff, you can get these passives here. They make stuff glow when you get near it. You saw it's like the glowing effect. That will happen when you get to a certain distance. The more points you put into this, the further away it'll start glowing. So that can help too. There's also the add-on Harvest Merge, or not Harvest Merge, sorry, Harvest Map. Get it every time. This add-on, what it'll do is every time you collect a cloth node in the wild, or any resource node, it will mark it on your map so that if you want to do this again next time, every one that you found in the past will show up, and so you can just check immediately these locations you found them before, so you're not bumbling around like a blind man. You can just go through to these locations you found them before, because they spawn in predetermined locations. They're never going to spawn randomly. So you just check the same locations you found before, and you should be able to find some. There's one I haven't found yet. So what happens is, you pick it up, and it'll add like a little pin there, so you can see it. So not only does it show up on the map, it also shows up on your screen. So it's really handy to find these things quick. So there you go, there's another one. So you can see why I recommend this over doing a town. Because, yeah, like, you'd still be fucking heading over there. And, you know, while you're heading through here looking for cloth-producing plants, you don't have to worry about players coming after you. Sure, there's a couple of bugs and sand crocodiles, but they're not smart like players are. They are not capable of the sheer terror that a good player can inflict. Alright, there's the last one. They're all done. That's 5. Now, I also will make a case... Oh wow, what's going on here? I also will make a case for surveys. So what surveys do is... Oh wow, did I just get some... Nice, I got some no crux. Sorry, I should mention that, shouldn't I? So this is why I'm in Craglorn. That's why I suggested it before. So Craglorn, all the cloth-producing plants here give you a chance of getting Nerncrux. And the reason this is great is Nerncrux Fortified sells for a fair bit, but the real prize is Potent Nerncrux, the Blessed Blood Cocaine. This shit sells for a lot. You can't see the price here, but it sells for like 20,000-ish. And Nirnhone as a trait is really good. It's what I use for dual wield, and I don't know if it's meta anymore, but it's a pretty good option. Because it's just generally powerful. Like, Sharpened is not great if you hit the pen cap. Charged is like good on a single target. Precise is good as well, but Nirnhone is just like, it's just simple. It just increases your weapon damage. Increases your healing, increases your damage done. You know, it's just good in every way. And there's no way for it to like reach a point where it's just like not as valuable. I've completely forgotten what I was going to say before. Oh yeah, sorry, shit. Surveys. That's what I was talking about. So, surveys, when you do crafting writs, if you do Clothier writs, you'll get a Clothier survey. And what these are is they show up on the map. This is an add-on as well, Lost Treasure. I'll link that in the description if you want it too. If you get a clothing survey, they will give you 6 nodes that count as cloth-reducing plants to the Endeavor. So you can just go to that location. They're instanced, so they'll appear invisible to other players who don't have their own survey, and they have their own version. So like no one can take these from you. So it's really good, really reliable. The only problem is survey endeavors do come up from time to time. And if you don't have these to do those survey endeavors, you're screwed. Whereas these here, if you don't have one, it just inconveniences you a bit. So if you've got a shit ton of surveys, go ahead, use one. But if you only have a few, my advice is just hold on to them, just in case. Heists. So what's a heist? Basically, you steal a bunch of stuff. It's the Thieves Guild DLC, like guild daily quest. So firstly, Zone Guide, check this. Here's Vane. This section here, you must complete the long game first before you can get access to these. You have to do another quest extra after that, but once you've completed the long game and the quest to unlock heists, you can then do one a day. So a couple of things first. Try and get a character with either Stage 4 Vampirism to get invisibility while sprinting, or a Nightblade with Cloak. Obviously, if you've got subclassing, you can use that too. And Nightblade Shadow is skill line, if you can get that with Cloak. The reason I suggest Cloak is it allows you to get past most of the enemies unspotted. There are a couple of enemies that will actually spot you through invisibility, so it's not super important. If you just want to do this as fast as possible, you don't need anything aside from just being able to run fast. So at least be really, really fast. Something like running Dark Stride with Coward's Gear, for example, or if you've got Ring of the Wild Hunt to make yourself really fast, it can help too. Or you can just craft yourself a set of... not fucking Wrath, idiot. Adept Rider. This does the same thing as Coward's Gear, basically, except you get it for all the time, whereas Coward's Gear gives it to you while sprinting. But Coward's Gear also gives you major protection, which is kind of useful, maybe. But it also gives you stamina recovery, which isn't very valuable because you're sprinting anyway, which is going to put your stamina recovery at 0. So, yeah, not really that important. But I guess it's helpful if you're when you're stationary doing stuff. Anyway, so how to start this? You get this board here to read this, and this gives you your first your heist quest. So now what you do is you talk to this guy, and he'll take you to the location where you need to go to start your heist. These are instanced, so other players can't get in the way of this and sort of annoy you with it, which is helpful. Instance is always good. So my advice here, if you don't care about getting the XP for Thieves Guild, or if you don't care about the loot, personally I don't think the loot's worth it. If you just want to complete this as fast as possible, you can just ignore all the enemies, like just run past them, honestly, and just kill them when you get to the location. You can't get a bounty in here because everything's actually hostile, so you don't have to worry about it, unlike Black Sacraments, where if you kill the target directly, like in the open, you'll get a shit ton of gold as a bounty. But here it doesn't matter. So my advice here is just fucking run. Don't worry about like getting spotted, because as long as you get all the chests, that's all that matters. Your biggest threat in here is going to be these things here. They deal a shit ton of damage to you. I think they deal oblivion damage, so they just they ignore your armor and shit. But I'm not sure. I haven't actually been through here with a tanky character. Alright, so these people here, these are the ones that are going to get you in trouble, because they're the ones that can spot you through invisibility. So kill them before you continue on. So I'm just going to blast this one open. If you have the Legerdemain skill line leveled out a lot, get yourself Locksmith right here. This increases the chance of forcing a lock. So you can just jump straight in here, force a lock, and get it done really quick. Now you can invisibility away from the enemies that can spot you, but you just can't do it when you're nearby them. So that's the main issue that you're going to find. Don't spot me from up here, please. Okay, cool. Alright, so that's it. So now we can just leave whenever we want. Oh no, never mind, sorry. Why is there no quest icon? The fuck? God. Getting wrecked. I should also mention, if you go around in stealth, you'll spot the tripwires. Assuming you're not in combat, you can actually disable them. So if I go over here, yeah, I can just disarm them. So that way you don't get hit by them. So you can do that if you want. It can help. I want to know, do you... Oh, you still get hit, okay. I guess that was silly. Silly. Alright, he's dead. Took that one, and now we leave. So, I'm just gonna run. I don't care too much. Alright, so if you leave too slowly, or if the bonus goes away, there will be like a tougher enemy that comes out. But they're basically as strong as a public dungeon boss. And they're not tough at all. I need to figure out where they are. Oh, they're becoming now. Wow, I just failed it? Really? That's the thing, like, if you're quick, you can honestly do this by being spotted a million times, but just running really fast. There's supposed to be an enemy that comes around here. I don't know where they are, though. See if they show up. Maybe I have to leave the room first. Oh, here they are. Here we go. So yeah, this guy here. 250,000 health. Does a little bit of damage, but not much. But yeah, very easy. So the whole thing, you have to remember this is like 10 years old, this content. And it has not been updated one bit, so. Alright, he'll say, oh, everything went bad, but that's fine. It doesn't matter. You can still just hand that thing in, and it still counts. I guess he also counts as a dangerous foe. Oh wow, I'm lagging really bad. Alright, is there any reason to do the do heists as well as possible, like spend the time doing them? Personally, I don't think so. It's biased, but I don't think the Thieves Guild is useful in any way aside from using the Thieves Troves for maps and for the Thieves Trove endeavors whenever they come up. Personally, I consider this entire skill line to be, like, worthless. Not worthless, but, like, not worth the effort. Because, yeah, I just find bounty is just not an issue in this game. Unless you, like, kill hundreds of people each day. And at that point, this is kind of not really going to help anyway. Yeah, unlike Dark Brotherhood, there's, like, one really good skill, but, yeah, I just think, personally, Thieves Guild, aside from Finders Keepers, not worth bothering with. Alright, so that's Daily's done. If you have any questions or some insight for me, just put stuff in the comments, you know how it is. But thanks everyone for watching, thanks for your support as always, I'll see you next time, and take care.